Let's start with the checking in. Paul Makwena, how is it going?
Good morning, it's Mpho Mo'anakwena.
Mona Kakwena. Kosen, I'm gonna just bite my teeth all the way. Apologies for that. Go ahead.
For me, I was just reflecting and going through everything that we've went through during the program, and I was just thinking about how I now have a bit of understanding, especially when it comes to a customer segment. So during the orientation, there was something that you said, ELSM, which just changed how I looked at profiling a customer. That's number one. That was like the big thing for me. And then also I'm still also working on understanding my role in my business as a director and also as a shareholder. I know that's like one of the first things that we did, but yeah, I'm still also working on that. And what I've also been thinking about is moving forward, how do I begin to trust the decisions that I make? Because sometimes you can um, get information, like gather information for you to understand the proper decisions that you have to make, but sometimes you don't know everything. So how do you even begin to trust the decisions that you are making throughout your business journey? Yeah, that's it from my side.
Perfect. Maybe some follow up on some of the things that you've mentioned. So, under keeping of the money, we also really focused on understanding the principle around how the world is built, but also how to keep yourself sustainable.
Yes.
Are there any of those principles that maybe are not clear enough or that you are not sure of?
I don't remember Gashle, but
did you go through the videos? Remember, under Keep we have modules.
Yes. So I didn't go through all the videos.
Okay.
There is yes.
You under Keep we have I think about 4 or 5 modules. You need to go through those modules. They are not long, just to make sure that at least you understand the principle. I generally say to entrepreneurs, rather listen to it first before you read it. But so that by the time you read it, at least your mind has already maybe worked on it or figured it out or heard it. And that is one. Number two, also as you are listening, write down the things you need to think about and consider and action. Because if you just listen or read or attend without an action, then you're not going to implement.
Yeah.
It's going to just be, oh, that's what it is. And it's not going to sink in. The only time what you are learning is going to sink in is when you start practicing it.
Yes.
Okay. So that would be my guide. And let me check in with Mpho Tselo.
Theule.
Oh, yeah, bonnet. He's a Shaolisa.
No, it's fine. It's precious. It's fine. Look, I mean, for me, under how to keep money, the principles I understand, and where I am in my journey is trying to implement. And the scope, if you look at the scope or the modules in there, it's all of them are useful, however can be overwhelming if you're still small and can't delegate. So I have a junior bookkeeper who I've been pushing him to try and implement certain things, but I realized that he still needs a little bit more coaching. So I can't afford somebody more experienced,
Okay.
but I don't really have enough time to coach him and guide him because I have a number of people reporting to me. But I think my plan is to try and reduce the number of people reporting to me so that I can be able to coach those that report directly to me. So in June, I've just had 6 new employees, all of them reporting to me. So they're still going through some kind of an induction and settling in. But I'm hoping from next month, I will be able to get a structure where they report to maybe one person, or maybe out of the 6, 2 report to me, so that I can be able to give attention to the bookkeeper who's supposed to make sure that we keep our money. But I think the principles themselves, I do understand them. I'm just at the implementation. So at the moment, I would focus on making sure that the records are maintained. So I've got somebody who captures data from the bank and reconciles the bank on the accounting system to make sure that at least that information is tracked. And then the bookkeeper who I'm referring to, he's also about 3 months old in the company. So his role, I'm trying to making sure that go and audit and make sure that the information is accurate. So what we don't do as yet is analyze and look at what the data says and how can we improve. We've introduced it early this month, but it's something that is quite new. So it is just the prioritization to say, let's take one month at a time. But I'm not very much worried. As an entrepreneur, you tend to want things to happen today, but in real life, they happen in a week. So sometimes I'm not sure whether my expectations are realistic or not, but it's what I'm dealing with.
Okay. So, okay. I think I've got few solutions for you, but I'm gonna pass for now. I'm gonna move to Boitumela. Hi, Boitumela. How is it going?
Morning, Mrs. Fresh. I'm not sure if it's my network. Everybody keeps cutting.
Yes, it's your network. Shame. I think you tried with another gadget or device. It went in and went out, and now you came back. Now it is better than before, but maybe consider maybe moving.
Okay, no, I'll do that. Good morning, everyone. I wasn't planning to. This is not my slot. I was coming in a little bit later on at 1. But my sister had asked me to be her birthing partner today, but so she doesn't know the correct times. So I just thought if it happens later, then let me be ready for her, and then I can join here. If it means I'll join again my coaching session, it's fine. I can. Mrs. Presh, I have started this week on some of the things that we spoke about last week, and I'm going to say this with the most. I don't know if I don't want to say embarrassment or what, but I realized, that even the most simplest and mundane tasks we overlook because we're constantly in the business. You're constantly in the business trying to push things in the business. So a while ago, a long time ago, I think we used it for like 2 months and we left it. I had introduced the system of time cards because it was just only the 3 of us. I was still working at home, and I left it. So basically, we've been working without time cards. Just the ladies come in, they know what time they come in, what time they leave. Sometimes we overlap and all of that. So out of the conversation that we had from the last coaching session, I've reintroduced the time cards this week. We're talking about how to, actually it was from last week. We're trying to get a template that's going to work, where the girls can fill in and calculates everything. So we started with that. Another thing that we started with now is the time card, and then it's what we spoke about. I'm trying to get a something that is friendly for us to be able now to, because I know the times that it takes. I have tested, the productivity and how long would a certain task take. So now what I'm trying to do is to schedule in such a way where it goes now. The schedule is, if we're doing, let's say 5 buckets of scones in a day, this is how much time you're going to spend on it, because I've checked against the time and all of this. So I'm trying to get systems now for what we spoke about measuring the capacity of what we have and how much we can do really in that kitchen that we have. And so that's what those are the templates that I'm working on this week. We started on Monday, and yeah, so I'm basically, we're doing plans, but it always overlaps. And I always took it as, because I constantly have new people coming in and you train up, they don't finish their 4 months and then they've left or whatever, and then you have to start someone else from scratch again. So it becomes a bit of a task. Each and every single one of them comes with their own issues, whether it's time issue or whatever. So yeah, so I've started looking at the templates that are going to be easy at the same time and not be hindering on production, whereby they're filling, and production is standing at the same time. Because what they do, just do a little draft of the plan for the day. We do that daily. So I like taking about 5-10 minutes before we start the day to do that. And then we'll have the whole plan for the week as an overview. And then each day, maybe when we receive other orders, if ever we don't have enough orders for the week, when we receive orders, then I slot them into the plan like that. So I'm looking at templates that are going to be easy on them, very quick. So that's what I started working on this week. And yeah, pretty much, yeah. Let me just, yeah. So I'm working on what you advised on last week about, really getting even the KPI. So I'm thinking once I get all of that done, then we'll move to the next step
Okay.
of what is it that needs to be done. So if I can just measure the day-to-day times and also chase the productivity from that side, which I haven't been doing, then I can move on to the other things that we spoke about.
Perfect, sis. Thank you. Hi, Silva. We're just checking in on what's going and what are we working on, implementing on how to keep. And Boitu has just finished a part. Do you want me to pass you for now, or should I start with others and then you will tell me as you listen? Sylvia?
I'll tell you as I listen, because I just got in.
No problem. Thank you. Okay. Just remember to sign your attendance register on the WhatsApp. Please get your notes ready. I'm going to start with Paul. Paul Monakwena. Paul, the matters that you are raising as to one, the biggest one which we are covering was you are working on the budget and stuff, but I also need you to start also measuring daily what is the minimum amount you need to make per day, and are you making that? Monitor that daily, right? That is what I need you to work on. 2, please make sure you go through those modules. Number 3, as for the decision making, so on the decision making, what you're gonna need to do over time, you're gonna need to start creating your own systems on what keeps you, what gives you a comfort. So before you make a decision, you also need to ask yourself which decisions you are comfortable to make and which decision you're not comfortable to make. And on the decisions that you're comfortable to make, those will be your quick ones. And then on the decisions that you are not comfortable to make, you're gonna need to create a system on how those decisions will be made without though interfering with your progress. So for example, I am not so comfortable in making decisions around marketing and business development ideas. So on marketing, including, so I need more time to understand it and read about it, then so that I ask the right questions to the service provider. But furthermore, I also have decided that I should actually just outsource. But when I outsource, I have a clear deliverables, which I will ask those individuals. And how did I build that? I built it up by making sure that I read more about it. I also made sure that I subscribe to the right platforms, which will provide me with relevant templates that will help me to make sure that I'm on top of things. In starting other new businesses, which I feel uncomfortable, I actually will attend courses in other instances, just to make sure that I am comfortable in making decisions on those, or even supervise those individuals that I'm bringing on board. However, I do not let that hinder my decision making, because the decision making sometimes have a time deadline. So I also take into account that I only fail when I don't take decisions. But when I do take decision and I don't make the right decision, at least I learn. So that is how I buffer myself. So you shouldn't be afraid to make decisions. You should use also your intuition and make the decision. Even if the decision is wrong, that's okay. You will learn from that.
Okay.
Now, what does that mean also just in general? Surround yourself with different mentors and coaches that you can touch base on certain decisions that you want to make. That will also buffer you and assist you to have a broader view when you are not sure. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I do need you though to highly focus on completing those modules, because they will broaden up your thinking, but also make sure that you set up a clear budget of how much do you need to make to break even per day. When you don't know per day, you won't know per week, you won't know per month, so that it drives you to sell more.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Precious.
Paul, number 2. So, Paul, I needed to start. So you have that organogram that I had shared with you guys in terms of the presentation, where I took about 15 business functions and I slotted them in 3 categories, right?
Mm-hmm.
I needed to start building up orientation material for those processes. And when you have done that, record it and back it up on YouTube. But make sure when you set it up on YouTube is private. It's not public.
Okay.
Or back it up on your cloud. Okay. That will ensure that you don't repeat yourself. And that also applies to you, Boitumelo. You will only build up a scalable business only when you start documenting your processes and your systems. So documenting it might take long because you're typing it, but running a recording portion. So set up an agenda for each section based on the people that you're employing, and then cover the key things that they need to do, and create checklist for the people to then, when they have done those things, they provide you a reporting system on it. Okay. That will reduce the time you spend on each staff, but it will also make sure that even when the staff leave, you don't need to repeat yourself again.
Okay.
Your aim is to do one thing once, and if you are repeating that same thing, is because there's additional improvement. There are things that you want to add in. So what I have done, look at the recordings that I've done. I'm not repeating the recordings that were done because it's done. But what I'm trying to do is to pick up from you guys what are the questions or what are the issues, and I'm using that to then add more content. Same thing you need to adopt. You can adopt the same model for your business.
Makes sense. Interesting.
Now,
Makes sense, Precious.
and it's practical and it's easy to do. Literally, by end of this week, you should have recorded at least 3 videos for your business on those 3 areas. And then you can then later break it down to individual components based on the roles and responsibilities of your staff. But when you have done it that way, it allows your team members also to know how to execute the work in relation to areas that they are currently not responsible for. So that should that person move, you can add the responsibility on the other one. It allows easy for cross flow or cross or sharing of tasks. Okay. Now, dealing with the issues of administration, budgeting, and the office admin. I think what you need to do when it comes to admin is just dedicate 1 or 2 hours a week, 1 or 2 hours a week. But when you dedicate that time teaching your office admin, your administrator, even that teaching that administrator, make it to be online, make it recorded. Record that admin setting up that time. And each time when you pick up the mistake, you record that. Each time you pick up the record, I promise you, by the time she can then also go back and be able to listen to it and see it and then redo it and do it better. You are wasting your time when you actually take time to teach her, because then when she leaves 6 months or 12 months down the line, what then? You're starting all over again. When you have finished with her recording, you then ask her. So there are tools that you can use from, like, if I'm doing a narration, like now I'm talking, I can take this recording of this video and convert it to be a text. And then from there, you can then create manuals. Okay. And you can then edit the manual. So her output for each week will be then to cover them updating the manuals. Okay. And so, which means for all your staff members, they need once a week, they need to dedicate at least 1 hour updating manuals in the areas that they are working on. And I promise you, if you can make that in the next 30 days, by end of the 30 days, you're gonna end up with the first draft of your manuals. And now you're gonna be refining them, you're gonna be checking them. So when you are spending time with someone, supervising them on overseeing, you are basically following up and making sure they understand it better, but also refining the templates that they're supposed to be using. to manage their processes and systems. Okay. Now, I also need you, Mpo, to work on job descriptions of your staff. Because the fact that you're bringing 6 more staff, it means your business is growing quite fast. I'm not sure if you're ready within the HR component of it, but you need to be ready. So see, the more you employ people, it means the more you are forced to work on the business than working in the business.
True, makes sense.
Okay, so those are quite a lot of few actions to do on your side. Please give me a feedback. We are finishing the program though, so we're gonna need to figure out when we are having a one-on-one, when you have completed the program, I will oversee some of these tasks and just make sure that, and also add more. And the approaches, the quicker approaches of getting you closer to your goal.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, Boyd, some of yours is a little bit technical because it might also be relating to how you are doing things and how you want things to actually be done. I do, though, would need you to make sure that your recipes must be recorded. But in your recording of your recipes, make sure the temperatures are also measured. The temperatures are measured by tools, not by a human beings. Because that has an impact, because I mean, baking is science.
Yes.
Because baking is science, you then have to apply tools that are also scientific. I also need you to start, since you have already started on the costing in terms of the measurements, I need you to start really keeping track of the GDP margins for your products. Tracking that. Which system are you using for costing, by the way?
I'm using an app. It's a food cost calculator app. Initially, I was doing everything like breaking it down to the last T. So the nice thing about the app is I can take the very same information, just feed it to the app, the recipe. So I can feed the recipe to the app, and then it does the food
What's
cost.
the name of that recipe? There was another one that I had used before. Is that the app that you are using? Is that a bakery app?
It's a food cost calculator, so it encompasses even baking because you just feed the recipe. Your night calculates for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would like you to also consider, as you are building your business, because you could also be a supplier of specialty products like diabetic, like keto, that are very high niche, which you can sell higher price, but you are supplying to either a retailer or a wholesaler, or you're supplying to places like Fit. There's a Fit, what is it called? A Fit website, the one that they give you even smoothies and stuff.
Oh yes, Fit Chef.
I don't know. Let me just think about that. Hang on.
They give you meals and prepacked meals, right? I think it's Fit Chef.
Yes, it's Fit Chef. So places like Fit Chef, where you can actually, because they are now moving to saying low carb and stuff. So you can then supply them. You can decide either supply them with something that is a mixture or something that is already baked. But the point I'm trying to make is that there's a lot of opportunities out there. You just need to figure out the best way to make sure that you are expanding, should you pick up when you have done your capacity that there's still capacity?
Yes, especially.
Okay. I also wanted to say is, when you're saying you are creating templates, I would rather you consider not necessarily using hard copy templates. I would rather you consider looking at apps in the industry that exist that can help you to manage your resources in terms of labor.
Okay.
So, i.e., timesheets that are online. That is what I would like you to consider.
Okay.
Because that will save you a lot of time managing it also. See, hard copies, there's a lot of things. However, so let's just say, for example, you're gonna need to check within your app what other features are possible available, because there's apps that you can unlock another feature on them, or you can integrate them with another app to help you track the hours for labor.
Actually, there is.
So I need you to
It
start
was.
looking within the current app what features that you currently are not using that are available for you, so that I don't want you to spend a lot of time recreating and designing templates. No, the aim is to look what already exists, how can I use this more efficiently, and how can I build it. If there is no feature relating to that, most apps, they will have a marketplace where they have apps that work easily with that app, where you can just integrate the API of it.
Yeah, now that you're saying that, you're reminding me. Actually, I used this particular one. It was more web based, but it was really like for bakers.
Great.
It
So
had everything, so you could even break it down to. It's just that Lorna, it needed a lot of information to be fed to it, and then, but I think once you've done that, then you can
but
sort of start. Yeah.
what you need to ask yourself, how can I collect that information? How can I input that information? Because that is going to help you to build up. As you're building up, at some point, you're going to need a baker manager. And that baker manager, how are you going to manage them when you are not putting these systems in?
Yeah. Yeah.
But also, your business only makes money when you scale, when you replicate your current spot now to another location. How are you going to do that when you are not putting in systems?
Yeah.
So your model board should be a mindset of franchising what you do. That is the model. That is how you make money.
Noting that down.
Okay. And when you are ready, let me know. I will help you to, when you are ready to scale up to another location to franchise, let me know. Okay, so Sylvia, can you provide me with the areas that you're working on, or the areas that also that you're struggling on? And also, have you gone through the relevant modules and the material?
Yes, what I'm struggling on was on my financial statement, the way I record. But now, because I was using a spreadsheet, that I can see on my spreadsheet, what I missed was the column of, because I'm not buying from the same supplier. I'm using 3 suppliers. Sometimes you get the stock in a lesser price and you make more profit, and others it's just standard. So of which I do 1.8 every day as a profit. But if the supplier, the one that I like, I sell, I buy cheaper, then my amount for the day is more than 2,000. So yeah, I think I must work on my finances, because my finances, my recording actually is not proper. I need to work on that.
Okay. So how much does your business make, Sylvia?
Per day,
Per month?
per month is 25 to 30,000.
Do you sell to individuals or do you sell to companies?
I'm selling to the individuals, especially the street vendors.
Okay, what
I
does your
supply.
business do?
It's providing live chickens presently.
Okay. Okay, now noted. So you do need some sort of a receipting
Yeah.
of some sort. So I think, because are you also in an environment where you generally lose electricity?
No, I'm not using electricity presently.
Okay.
Yes.
So your systems are pretty manual.
Yes, manual.
My request for you will be, get a books from either CNA or Macro or Pick and Pay, the little booklets, which will be your receipts when you are selling, and reconcile the receipts to your Excel spreadsheets, and then reconcile to the bank account.
Okay.
Because when you are recording from your head, you're gonna forget. There's too many things in your head.
Yes.
But also when you are there, you don't know for sure if there was a sale or no sale with employees. So start a new system, and you can buy it as a duplicate, so that the first copy goes to the customer and the second copy remain on the book.
Okay.
I think for now, keep that way. And then
Yes.
your accountant will then work out and build up from that. You can also do summaries, or get someone in the office to do summaries of this slip for you. And then when they have captured the invoice, they need to sign it or tick it or something, or mark it, so that it's not duplicated. But when it gets captured also on the system, it must follow a sequence of that book. So you will need to make sure that you say book one, so it will say book 1 of 1, and then book 2 of 1, so that there's always a sequence. That will also help you to make sure that reconcile back to the money on the till, if there is money that you receive cash.
Okay.
Now, remember, Silva, you can work hard and make a lot of money, but you may not see the money if you don't have proper records.
Yes.
My feeling, you work hard and you are making substantial money, but you don't see it.
That's true.
awuyiboni le mali. Into eyenza ukuthi ungayiboni ingoba mayingena awuyirekhodi properly, noma isiphuma awuyirekhodi kahle. So from now on, you will also create a spreadsheet that you are using for the expenses, But when you are doing that, also make sure you specify the volume of what you are buying. So ungasho nje ukuthi uthengeka macro ini, i-quantity yayo ibumalini, i-price yakhona ibumalini.
Okay.
Because that will help you also now when you're doing your costing to start seeing, am I undercharging or overpricing? Am I getting my money back? Okay,
I understand.
great. How have you been going with the material? Have you been going through the material?
Yes, I did read the material. Every time when there's a session, I go through.
You go through it. Have you gone through the videos also?
Yes, yeah, videos, yeah.
Okay, let me know when you have any questions and send through so that it can help you. It seems like your business is set up, you use cash, quite a lot of cash. People are coming to you with cash.
Yes, cash and deliver, yes.
Cash on delivery, okay.
Yes, yes.
Have you had clients that requested you to pay by card?
Yes, I do have that machine of Yoko. I did bought it.
Okay, because the machine will then also, at least with the machine, it does allow you to have an Excel spreadsheet. So when you log onto the system, so you can reconcile the cash that is deposited versus the cash that went through Yoko. But I think your biggest chunk comes from physical cash, and you need to improve controls from the cash side of that.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, there is a question that says, it's Precious, you mentioned surround yourself with good mentors. How do one find them? And most of them seems busy running their own businesses. So I think there are lots of mentors and there are lots of programs that do have mentors. It's how you structure yourself. Find the mentors and find out what they are doing and when they are doing those things so that you can ask the question. So with me, what I used to do, my mentor was Alon Race. I then made sure that I attend his events. When I had questions, I will then ask my questions. But also when I see that I'm getting stuck, I would actually schedule an appointment. But in setting up that appointment, I will have specific agenda items with supporting document of what I've done, so that when he sits down with me, he has prepared. The reason why people don't make themselves available is that most entrepreneurs do not take sufficient time in preparing for the meeting, but also in educating themselves about that problem they want to solve. So you're coming to me, your cup is empty. You don't even have a proper understanding of that issue, and you're expecting me to fill the gap. Remember, mentorship is me giving you an industry insight, but that industry insight should be basically mean your basics. You've already covered the basics. I'm now topping up. When it comes to coaching, you must be prepared. If you're coming for coaching, you must have done your own research. You must have seen what works, what doesn't work, and then also have, these are my conclusions on it, so that I can then coach and say, no, your conclusion is not right. Consider doing 1, 2, 3. These are the things you need to consider when you're doing 1, 2, 3. There are people who also say, I need a coach or I need a mentor, but they are not willing to do what it takes. And I generally say those are the people that want the success or want what it means to win in that thing, but they're not willing to put the work. So sometimes that also has been a turn-off to most coaches. I also think we, even in this program, I've been running it for 3-4 years. And every time when we have entrepreneurs, we always say, send us your question. We'll run monthly webinars or even weekly webinars on those issues. But generally, people don't use those opportunities. And that's okay. It's because people will always think the problem is because they don't have enough guidance. I think there's enough guidance. You just are not willing to take actions. So that's what I would like to say about whether people are available or not. I think people are available. Some of them you can tweet to them, the ones that you know, and they always answer that I have tried. So yeah. Okay, so there is more than enough help and support out there. Okay, are there any other comments or matters that you want me to deal with or follow-ups from those discussions?
I'm on the road now, Fresh, but I think I'll also join in later on. I'm not sure if there's time. You just reminded me. This particular app doesn't have, but you reminded me of another. It's actually a system now that I'm saying. Now that you've spoken about it, you've reminded me to now go back and look at it, because I was only using it for. I was trying to use it for pricing, like I said, and I just feel like it had a lot of things that I was not looking at. And I will definitely be going back to that and doing things online. My issue with doing things online is the pace that I saw the lady, especially with online things. Like sometimes I would say, no, can you sign these documents, especially the contracts that we just revamped now. Sign the documents online, and it was an issue. So that's why I was looking at something that's going to. I don't know.
What do you mean about signing online? What is the problem with people when they are signing online?
Because I was not printing them out, so we'll send it as a PDF to sign. So they had, like, we were struggling for like a week for them to sign the document.
What does that mean? Did you ask them what exactly they were struggling with?
They couldn't, upload the system. They couldn't. They didn't understand how to do it. I had to take them through it and all of that. Yes. So I saw the.
So that is not because the system is inefficient. Is because the people that you are dealing with have actually not done it before. So what does that mean next time? What does that mean then? It means when you sending them a document to sign, you will also have a link that is showing them how to do it. But it does not mean you should change your own processes.
Okay.
We are moving to paperless.
Yeah.
We have to stick with it. COVID has accelerated us as South Africans in terms of the use of technology. We shouldn't go back. We shouldn't go back at any cost. We should focus on going forward. And we need to make sure our people are also moving forward with us. Okay. Okay. I need you guys to tell me what else do you want me to cover within the module on keeping the money. I need you to tell me the challenges, because remember, there were principles that you needed to apply and implement in your business. Tell me the challenges you are facing in implementing those.
I think mine is precious. You've touched on it, and what is left is to apply the notes or the feedback you provided, and based on that, I can then be able to feedback and ask further questions, because
Okay. Yeah.
I guess the challenge is how do you do more with the time that you have? We all have 24 hours, and it's to maybe adopting those innovative tools to try and multiply yourself. So I think those were great ideas, which I'll definitely work on. But I also like what you've just said about how to prepare for a coaching session. So, for example, when I come to the coaching session, I look at the material, I look at the business, I put the issues in my head. But I think what you've just said is documenting that that preparation, and maybe even sending it in advance before a session. So I think maybe that could also help as well. I think those are the takeaways for me, and I think I've got a plate full to run with, and then I'll definitely feedback.
No problem. That sounds great. Okay. Perfect. Is there anything else? Remember, today is about you. The reason why also we keep you guys in smaller groups is to make sure that you have sufficient time to deal with the issues that are happening in your business. It's not 80, 40 people, right?
I think what I wanted to ask is, Presh, maybe it's not a question, but say, okay, it is a question actually, but it's not linked to this. What I wanted to ask is, even after the program, are we able to send you, let's say now we're implementing, the things that we need
The
to
management
implement.
accounts, you
Yeah.
need to come back to me with the management
So
account.
are we allowed to be sending questions even in those processes?
Absolutely, yes.
Oh, okay. No, because I feel like it's a lot, and we're just trying to get to at least maybe starting with the basic of what you realize that, this is a basic and I haven't even done it, So
Yeah,
starting with those,
it
and I
is
just feel
pretty
like as we
basic,
come,
but it's gonna help you to improve performance.
yeah.
Remember, when you improve your performance, you also improve what? Your
Ka-ching,
profitability.
ka-ching, ka-ching.
Kaching, 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 indeed. And when you improve your profitability, it means over time, your balance sheet also will improve.
Amen.
Okay, I am planning to run some trainings, but I'm realizing that I'm not having as many people subscribing on the channels that I have created, and so even you guys are not even going through the videos that I have done. So I'm worried about me creating more. So because I also don't want to do it for the sake of just doing it. I was planning to do additional training focusing on business admin, but creating a separate channel just for business administration. So I really need you guys, when you are picking things that are useful, subscribe and leave us comment, but also share the stuff you're learning. The more you share the stuff you're learning, the more it gets emphasized also in your mind. Don't listen to it once, listen to it over and over until it almost like get grilled into your head.
Is Precious?
Yes.
if I have a bookkeeper in my business, can I let them watch some of the stuff,
Of
or
course,
they'll have to go to the
anyone
thing?
can watch. Actually, I always say accountants needs and bookkeepers need to listen to my training, because I help them to make sure that they don't just focus on what is finance, because finance by its nature is a result, is an outcome of having done all the things we talk about. They need
Yes.
therefore to help you guys to say, you know what, your revenue are reducing. But the reason why they're reducing is because 1, 2, 3 is not being done right. And I think most of the time, the way entrepreneurs are using accountants, they're using accountants just for records, for recording the transaction, but not to analyze the recording. So, for example, Boyd sent me her management accounts. Her management accounts are not even analyzed. They just, it's data. It's a data, it's information, just that. So actually it's not information, it's that. Because information is useful. It's not, it's just that. Management accounts must be put in and provide a context. Paul, you are speaking and you're mute.
Well, I was actually just agreeing with what you're saying, and which is what I said earlier on, to say we record and have the data ready and don't give enough time to analysis.
Yeah.
I tend to focus on, for example, what keeps me awake daily is our bad debts, for example, because we are in the unsecured financing space.
Yes,
And
but Paul, the other time me and you, we did put measures on how to deal with that. Remember?
I have, yes. In fact, from after that, in July, I introduced something to cap that. For example, we said in July, so we've got over 40 businesses that we support. So we identified our top 20 businesses. We said for the next quarter, let's just support the businesses that we know need to grow and need our support until such time that we improve certain areas within our due diligence process. Because what we picked up and the reason we had those bad debts was because of we did not do our operations manual in full.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
So my suggestion for you also will be, you could also come up with capacity building areas. So when you have done the due diligence, you pick gaps. On those gaps, help the client to come up with developmental targets to deal with those areas. And then say to them, if you have done the following, we'll support you in 3 months' time.
Yes. In fact,
and over
Precious,
time, you can then start seeing, okay, how much time am I spending on? But also you can leverage. You can leverage on people like me, where you say, in addition to that, here's the book that's going to help you. Here's a platform that's going to help you. But remember, you don't have a right to redistribute my PDF document, my own book. So they will need to buy it.
No, that's true. In fact, what you've just said now is we realized this capacity building for our clients. And one of the things we realized is that they may know what they need to do to build capacity, but they seem to struggle in doing it themselves. What we've done is we will be launching an incubator with the support of CEDA in September. So CEDA has given us a first year funding of about 5M to set up the incubator. And the idea is that with the SMEs that are in the incubator, where there's support to build capacity, those are the entities that we want to target to support in terms of working capital, because they will be assisted to close those capacity gaps, because on their own, they seem to struggle to do it. So we are trying different ways. It's not the only solution, but we are trying different ways. The other one we are doing is what you suggested in our coaching session previously, in terms of having a strong relationship with the supply chain owners who can help us manage the risk as well. So I had a meeting with the senior supply chain manager last week. He said I must send him an agreement. I sent it, the agreement, and today I'm going to be following up. That will probably be our first, agreement, and I want to see if that also helps us to mitigate the risk. So it's risk management and capacity building that we are working on.
Okay, but Mpho, you are also have not implemented everything still, because I also said you need to sit down with, once you have updated your due diligence checklist and stuff, and you've also updated your operational model, you need to go back to the go to find an insurance broker to assist you to actually reduce the risk, so that when you don't collect, you can actually get at least 75%.
We actually have, and he has given us, I saw a code earlier this week, because the bookkeeper asked him to get us a code from our broker, and then I'm going to be looking at the code. We've added other things, including director liability cover, but this is for ourselves. But in that, we included the debtors book cover as well. So I will be looking at the quotation just to see what's in there.
Okay, no, that is good. So that will then complete that. There will still be a residual risk, but those residual risks can also be mitigated by the fact that you're now going to work directly with the people whom your SMMEs are supplying. So where you will also make sure that the agreement says they pay you first, and it's clear how much they are paying.
Exactly. That's the plan.
Okay, great job. Then, Mpho, is there anything else, guys?
This is Precious. It's just maybe my observation with the YouTube videos. So I noticed that so far I've subscribed to two channels. There's the Simplify Strategy one, and there's the Finance Success TV. So maybe one of the issues might be that people are not sure which ones.
So you see, we had made sure that for each module there is a link, but when there isn't a link, there is also a playlist. A playlist under Keep Money, there's a playlist for earning money.
Okay.
So maybe Boydu was working on that. Boydu, do you want to share the playlist that you were working on? Oh, you said you were driving. Boydu Melo was driving.
Yes, I'm on the road. No, I just find it on the Finance Success TV.
Yeah. So
I found them there.
Yeah. Yeah. So there is a playlist. Just spend more time getting to see what we have structured it according to the programs. So earning money, keep money, and the goals. And we do have. Let me see if I can't find it. Then I can share the screen also. Okay, so
welcome to Finance Success Program, where we have simplified business finance.
We have, okay, so are you able to see my screen?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So do you see that we have mastering of compliance, and there we have 14. We
Yes.
have setting of the goals, we have 18. Keep the money, we have what? 13. And the money, it's 11. Do you see?
Yes. What I was referring to, there is also another channel
Yes.
that is called
The other one
Simplified
is just for strategy.
Strategy.
Remember,
Okay.
this one is just financial management.
Okay.
It's finance.
All right.
It's pure finance.
Okay.
Obviously,
Okay.
these things. So when we now are learning about, you want to keep the money, you just look at the playlist. So let's say
Okay.
the whole playlist. And in the playlist, there's several, they range. Some are small, some are long. There's a whole list of them. But your role is to focus on the one that we have done with you as a group. Plus, because then you can learn from others. But then there's one that were recorded for specific things relating to the modules. So yeah, have a look at that. I need you to tell me which ones you need additional support in. Let me see.
Just listening to the old ones, I think I got a lot of nuggets from, I think even 2 years ago, 1 year ago, recordings with other groups. It then becomes something different to what we discussed or any discussion that we're having. Because they were
Yeah.
discussing something different, They had different challenges, they had different issues, they had different businesses. So when you listen, you actually, I think there was one that I listened to, I can't remember which one was it. There was a lady who's doing student accommodation, and there was a gentleman who had a lot of businesses, and he also had, I think he was starting a liquor business or something. There were a lot of good nuggets because some of them are really seasoned, if you say seasoned, but they've been in the businesses for a little while. But you realize that we're in the same boat because they were finding, putting new systems and all of that, but they've been running businesses for years. So just even going back to those ones, I got a lot of nuggets from them, honestly. I got a lot of insight from what was shared on those videos. So even though sometimes I'm looking for the one that specifically doing, but when you're listening in on other things like two or three videos, then it sort of gives you that perspective as well, even for your business. I've gotten a lot of notes from them.
That is good, Boytu. Yes, because for me, I've run this program not just on here, but also even in others like NEF. The biggest reason why our business fail and they are not lasting is because we neglect building the business. We try to focus on making more money, but we then are not replicating the same thing, because you make money from replicating a thing. And that is why others, they would find themselves 20 years down the line, 5 years down the line, they have nothing to show for it. The business might actually even be generating 20 million a year, but that revenue that is being generated cannot replicate it. It's ad hoc. And that is not a business.
No, it's true. And I think, sorry.
No, go ahead, sis.
No, I'm saying it's true because, and I think we don't realize what we've been doing. And I was telling you the other day that I've been to incubators. I've done the work, but I didn't understand what it meant. You know, I didn't understand where I stood, what it represents for my business, because that's how they're structured. You know, we go through this for, I don't know, a month or whatever. You do the 6 weeks thingy, we introduced you, it's 3 months and whatever, we introduce you. But you sort of, Luana, I think at any stage, yes, you do implement some of the things, but this was much more practical. I like the style of this training being more practical and applying day to day. Now let's apply that thing, do it. Because I don't think there's a use of me having that business canvas or even leading up to having a business canvas if ever there's no practicality to it. How are you doing it? So this program now has introduced, now this is how you do it. You know, like I told you the other time, we have the business canvases and we were told to work them out a certain way. And now you're stuck with this business canvas that you don't know how to work. You're stuck with this plans that you don't know how to work. You still continue with the same mindset of I need to make money, I need to make money. Yet there's still no systems that are going on. Even if you do systems, it's for whatever that you learn, or okay, this I learned from, you know, maybe another session, then I can implement. But being practical and continuing with that, I believe that's what's going, because I've been set free from this. Like I said, I've had 2 incubators already, but but sitting on this one that was so practical, now I'm getting to think, oh, this is why I've been going around in cycles. You know, this is why I didn't understand. Why is it that I cannot move forward? Yes, I can see sometimes that I'm getting money, and how do I refocus again to going back to what is it that I need to do? You know, so I think maybe even the model of incubators, I don't know who has that kind of you know, influence to say, even the model of incubator, sometimes let's just check what is it that's been fed. I hear Umpo is saying that it's going to do something similar. I don't know if it's something similar to this, but the incubation, but let it be a full thing, you know, that's going to really give us the tools as entrepreneurs to go out, be practical. Most of us are practical people. So you've never had a situation whereby there's videos to show to listen to. We learn differently, and most entrepreneurs, I can tell you, they're very practical versus, you know, somebody who's going to sit
and just read. So
yeah.
what
So we
we
want
are
practicality.
planning also to do is to the ones that are in Joburg or the ones that are also in Devon can actually go and do a site inspection. But we also are asking the funder what other things be, but I think that will also help, because now you have this capacity system that you have, but you have never planned a plant for efficiency. I can then now bring productivity as a board to help you with that. You see, and that is what we are looking for when we're working with entrepreneurs, that they've put these processes and systems in place. Now they're ready. Productivity SA can come now and say, okay, how to increase your efficiency, how to make sure that you actually are building, but the foundation has to be right. So the foundation of how we are measuring our success, how we're measuring our resources, how we're continuously managing those processes and systems day in, day out is important.
And even what you're saying about coaching, we are afforded coaches in the incubators, but you don't know what you explained it. Do your homework and then show up there. And you realize, and you're not even told that, you know, this is what, you know, is expected, you know, do this. Yes, there's a coach that's going to assist you, but you don't know what kind of, you just think, okay, it's a coach. Now that you're explaining what, when we come into a coaching meeting, this is what we need to do. You're expecting, okay, I'm having these issues. We sit down, I tell you my issues, you solve my issues. That's what it's always been, you know. But in terms of me now doing a whole scope of homework and then coming and then, okay, we're sitting down and what do we look at? What do we look at? That's why maybe it has also not been effective, the coaching sessions. I don't know.
Oh, yes, because both you and the coach were not prepared. Both of you have the principles were articulated, but they were not applied.
They were not applied. So there are coaches that we afforded, but there's never an understanding of what is it that's expected from me, what is it that is expected from the coach, the mentorships that are afforded, and you know that relationship has been outlined. But you also get mentors that they're like Paul was saying, that you find mentors that are really busy because they're not only helping this particular, they're helping others, and they're also doing their own businesses and doing their own things. So yeah, but we learn in the practicality. That's what I wanted to say. The practicality of things, and where does this sit? Where does this feature? How do you do that practical in a practical manner? You know.
Thank
So
you for
I
that
think
feedback.
that's been an that's been an eye opener for me in that sense, because I'm also somebody who learns with pictures. You know, I learn by seeing, and that's why I could remember some of the conversations, because I was seeing the conversation. And even when you're saying that we do videos for you're telling him to do videos for his people, that will actually help, because most people are learn practically. Like not sitting down and reading is a problem. I have to take the information, somebody read it out to me, in terms of I take the what's this now, that speech app that turns the text to speech, so that I can actually hear and listen and comprehend the information. That's how I learn, you know. So somebody else might be okay with reading, they're fine. Somebody else might be okay with just pictures, that's fine as well. You know?
Great. No, thank you. That's NLP, by the way. We teach using NLP. We also teach by heart. So by heart means I somehow get deeper to your story, but pull up your story to be able to then pass the hurdle that you are facing in your business. And that also help. So using the emotion. So, and that is why some of you will cry, some of you will say, I couldn't sleep thinking about this and so on. So yeah. But okay. Thank you so much for that feedback. Guys, do you have any other comments or questions? I will make sure I upload the recording too.
Well, for now, I think we have enough to implement. Well, let me speak for myself.
You have definitely have enough, but all of you, you've got few tasks that you need to work on. And Bodu is adding from last week. And yeah, I think all of you have work. Paul, great job. Paul Mona Gwena. Great. Thank you so much then, guys. Lots of love. Send me your
Thank you.
questions. We are
Thank
going
you.
to schedule up also the one-on-one. I think this is supposed to be the last session, right?
Yeah.
Yes, the last group session.
It's the last group session. So we are then gonna get ready. And thank you so much for holding on. I know it was hard, with all the things that are going on in our country. Yeah. And the negativity also is not helping. So yeah.
True.
Congratulations for up to the end. I will definitely be analyzing. Some of you have already given your feedbacks, so which means I expected the updated documents. Okay, and I'm here to assist and help you, and lots of love. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.